first question is, how does one go against mind?
You don't have to.
Like
Don't
how,
go
like,
against it. Did somebody tell you to go against mine?
so how can I like
Okay. Let's say the wind. Let's say the wind is. Let's say the wind's blowing at. Let's say 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour. All right, and I'm standing here like this. What could I do instead? If I turn like this, the wind just goes right past. So I didn't go against the wind. I just turned myself slightly.
so how can one turn oneself slightly?
First, you have to
Well,
create some space. Okay, I'm going to ring this bell 3 times. I want you to close your eyes. When you close your eyes, you're going to start having thoughts. Okay? I don't want you to worry about the thoughts. I want you to look at the thoughts. Then I want you to think about, well, wait a minute. What's looking at the thoughts? If these are the thoughts, what's looking at it? Ready? Here we go. Just breathe normally. Here, I'll guide you a little bit. Now you'll notice that the sound of my voice, the presence of your thought, the sounds of noises in the room, they all occur in, let's say, a dark space that for now we'll call your mind. And some take the form of sounds. Some take the form of little squiggles of light on the inside of your eyelid. Some take the like wood knocking around. It's all the same thing. Now, let your breath flow into the nose, out through the nose. Let your body relax. Put your attention on the soles of your feet as they press against the floor. Put your attention on the pressure on your rump as you feel it press into the chair. Let your shoulders drop. Let your body relax. You're not going to do anything, you're just going to take a look around. And in the darkness of what we're calling your mind, and what we're calling darkness, there's sounds, thoughts, occasional noises, sensations, perceptions. Maybe a memory will slip in, or maybe a fantasy will slip in. It doesn't matter, a fantasy about the future. But now you step way back and just look at these things. But remember, you're looking, you're not them. And this is what we call creating space between you and your mind. And so the first step is not to fight your mind. Don't try and wash blood with blood. Let your mind be and just look at it. Don't judge it. Don't try and stop it. Don't fight it. Don't struggle with it. Don't create more thought. Just look at it. Very simple. And then I'm going to ring the bell again 3 times, and then you'll gently, or when you're ready, you open your eyes. Okay, can you create some space between you and your mind?
a bit, yes,
Okay.
but
Okay,
I
then something
sometimes
else you can do. You can create space between your thoughts and the sounds, or your sounds and the perceptions. So now we have 3. Then we can put sounds, sensations, perceptions, thoughts, and you can put as much space, you can put them anywhere you want. There's completely, because there's no real space. It's all made up in your head. Time and space are not real, they're created by the mind. Physicists are starting to acknowledge this now, but we know that's true. And also, you can demonstrate it yourself. You can demonstrate the capacity to do that simply by being thinking, contemplating about your dreams. Because in your dreams, you create a whole world in your mind. And you create time, you create space, you create emotion, you create people, you create sounds, you create smells, colors. So you know your brain can do it. And that's what your brain does. That's what it's for, to create the world. Okay, but that's advanced stuff. So you asked what to do. First, create some space. Second, increase that
Second would
space.
be
Increase the space between thoughts. And at first that
what do
seems
you
like,
mean
wait a
by
minute,
that?
I can't do that. I can't do that. At first it seems like very hard to do. How can I increase the space between my thoughts? But you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you had a question.
Like, I was going to ask that same question. Like, some horrifying thought pops up that really bad thing will happen and all, and
Oh, well, let's do horrifying thoughts are the
I
best.
just don't.
Horrifying thoughts are the best. By far the best. Okay, let's imagine a 3-year-old child. He's walking on the edge of a roof, right? Oh my God, he's at the top of a 20-story building. Oh my God, he might fall. He might fall. Oh my God, he fell. Oh. Ah. Ah. It's just a thought. Well, but then he fell, right? But I could just as easily make him bounce. Boom, he bounced. Woo! Now he's going back up to the 15th story. Oh, now he's coming back down. Boom, he bounces again. And he bounces to the river. It's all thought. It means nothing. Nothing. So part of the deal, when you realize that you're the master of your mind, not the other way around. Your mind can't scare you. This is what you say to your mind, right? If it does something really, if it tries to scare you or something like that, double it, triple it. No, yeah, I'm not going to commit suicide. I'm going to be eaten dead. I'm going to be eaten alive by rats, right? And not just any rats, big rats, striped rats, And that's if the cockroaches don't get me. Let your mind take it on. Have some courage, right? And you'll see it has no power over you unless you give it power. And that's really a good exercise. I don't usually prescribe that because most people don't need it, but I think you should try that. I mean, I do it with phobias. So, okay, look, do you know what a
I
phobia is?
Yeah, I
Someone's
have.
scared to death of one of their own thoughts. Oh my God, I'm going to get trapped in an elevator. I used to be afraid I was going to get caught in the cracks in the escalator. You know what an escalator is? A stairwell that moves up.
Yeah, I know that.
When I was a kid, I was scared my toes would get caught and it would just suck me in and then I'd have to go around the whole way, whatever. It's all thought. It's just nuts. And so, yeah, I was scared of that for years. But, now I used to treat phobias, but now they're so easy to treat. It's just a thought.
Yeah, like today, even like my gym is at like fourth or fifth floor, and like I was doing this elliptical, and it was right near the window, overlooking a lot of places, and that elliptical was in a elevated position, so it literally felt like my mind was like, we will die if we like run a bit faster. It's possible that this whole setup might break off and we will fall to death. And
Go for it. Go for it. I mean, what do we do when we go see scary movies? Do you ever watch horror movies? Do you ever watch sci-fi with all the monsters and stuff? Or video games?
yeah,
What do you think you're doing in a video game?
I close it.
You
I
s-
usually don't play those games.
Good. That's excellent to hear. But in video games, basically people fight fake monsters, imaginary monsters, so they can feel what it feels like to have courage, what it feels like to be in combat, and all these fake feelings, right? You can have the same thing in the real life. Go get in a fight with a shopkeeper in India if you want to have combat. No?
I'll be thrashed pretty badly.
Yeah, so these are all just ways of the mind playing. It's just play. Nothing real can be hurt on this planet because nothing on this planet is made of the real thing. This is a dream planet. And so, I mean, this is advanced, but there's nothing to worry about, not on this planet. And so, and your mind, which people make into these terrible monsters, and they are. The mind is a horrible thing to lose control of. And you're talking to a man who spent 50 years working with people who've lost control of their minds. Now, sometimes it's because their brains are rotten. And that's very sad.
Schizophrenia
That's very sad. That's like
actually.
having diabetes or having pancreatitis or something. But that's not the case in your case. Your brain is normal, your mind is normal, and you're a normal human being. So you're lazy, you're greedy, you're selfish, and you want your gratification as soon as you can get it, just like any other mammal. I mean, a dog does not want to wait for his treat. If you let the dog just do whatever it wanted, the dog would gobble down all the treats right on the first day, right? Now, birds and cats aren't that stupid, right? But squirrels can be, bears can be, and we're just one of those animals that doesn't have the controls obviously built in. But if you had all the food in the world and all the women in the world, like King David or like Buddha, right? After about the first 6 months, man, you're going to be bored out of your gourd. Why do you think that all these rich guys are always getting in weird trouble with weird situations? Because they're bored out of their skulls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have to go out and get really, 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 really rich. So they're in combat, fake combat with their peers over money. Or they're, getting mixed up with somebody else's ex-girlfriend or wife, or well, who knows what kind of crazy things they're doing, causing all these big problems for themselves. Or they're going to Epstein Island and screwing some teenage girl. I mean, come on, man. So in Spanish, there's a saying, "Los ricos también lloran." That's a name of a telenovela. You have television novels in India, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever have any ones where there's really, really rich people and they just screw I mean, all they do is get into one crisis after another?
I can't recall at the top of my mind, but I do remember the McAfee guy.
I'm glad you can't. I'm glad you don't know. But these are just like soap operas. I'm sure there's soap operas in India. All right. But you don't need to bother with them. So basically, it's just the mind. It's if you want to use it for calculation, it's so real slow compared to what the machines will do. If you want to use it for writing, it's not bad, and it's certainly better than for some writing, it's absolutely essential that there be a human, but most of it can be done by the machines now. The coding, you know more than I do, but within 5 years, most coding will not be a matter of skill, cortical skill, but it'll be a matter of imagination, right? And so the people that are free, people that are illuminated, will have a huge advantage over everybody else because they have no limit of content, right? They just keep making content. That's the easiest thing in the world for them. Okay,
What
so
about
then,
problem solving?
I'm sorry, what?
What about problem solving?
What
Problem solving.
problem is the mind good at solving?
Mechanical ones.
Okay, mechanical
Or
ones, I'll
just
give you
solving
that, but a
something.
machine will help, probably do better than the mind. But let's leave out the engineering for a moment. Outside of engineering, what problems is the mind good for solving?
Definitely not social ones, because it can't think long enough, or it doesn't understand
Yeah,
things are pretty complex.
typically those kinds of problems are solved by what we call the human heart, not the human mind or the human spirit, because the human mind is very proud. It's the ego. And that's why Jesus said, the meek shall inherit the earth. That's why in Buddhism they say that, without humility, you're not going to get anywhere. That's why or in Sufism, that's why in Buddhism they say with your ego, you're not going to get to the front door, much less into the living room. And so there's a reason why every religion that I know of, every spiritual tradition I know of, I'd be happy to find an exception, but I've never found one. They all emphasize taking the teeth out of the ego, not letting the ego run the show, because the ego is a blind animal, a blind, greedy, selfish animal.